Welcome back to the Twisted Pint Tavern. Today we're visiting r/DnD to answer D&D players of Reddit, what is your most badass Nat 20 moment? And after the video, make sure to share your best Nat 20 moment in the comments, and it might get featured in a future video. This was in the early 90s. I was playing in a humanoid campaign as an Ogre whelp in Orcs of Thar. My character was on top of a mushroom forest and saw a beholder down below. DM was trying to warn us it was dangerous, but I took a look at my inventory and saw a skull soup bowl, a new club, some carved teeth, and other useless crap all in a sack. Then I realized I had an ogre-sized sack and came up with the plan. I dropped from heights with my sack and went to scoop up the beholder in it. Here comes first the surprise at it actually working, then the nat 20 for the scoop. The DM was so shocked that he forgot about the I-beam that could disintegrate the bag as my character swung the sack against the mushroom stalk until it was gooey. He kept looking for a beam to target me with no success. Many years later, when telling the story, he acknowledged that he got some stuff wrong, but it remains one of my favorite gaming moments. As a DM, there's a lot of times when you mess up a monster stat block, and sometimes you just let it be because the story that comes from it is far better than what would have happened if you follow the rules. Wait, people can actually roll 20s? Yeah, I'm not convinced either. I think my dice cap at like 12. Final fight against Acererak in the Tomb of Annihilation. We got him on the ropes. My Paladin was mostly naked on a flying horse. Hit him, rolled 20. Everyone cheers as I started collecting my dice for my biggest smite possible. DM sees all the dice and he's like, okay, that's enough. And we go to the cutscene where Acererak is like, I'll get you next time, and teleports away. You know, I think I've noticed a direct correlation between the rise in the Paladin smite dice at my table and my heart rate. In 4E Eberron, our party had to form an alliance with a Goblin nation. They challenged us to ritual combat to see if we were worthy. My warlord, who I played as a reckless adrenaline junkie, took the challenge and used my daily natural 20. It turned out later one of our party members, who was an escaped Goblin slave, was actually the long-lost prince of this nation. So the DM had set all of this up for us to succeed, but we didn't know any of that, and I was just doing my usual over-the-top in-your-face characterization, and it came out extremely well. You know, I think accidental success is actually the best success. My very first dice roll. I made a monk based on my old Frail history teacher, and there were kobolds attacking the town. After a brief description as to what a kobold was, I tell them I want to run up and punch one. Roll a 20. Well, what's that mean? LOL, they help me describe how my super old monk runs in and absolutely decimates this tiny lizard man, stomping out his esophagus. Something about a frail old history teacher stomping on a kobold's throat just puts a good image in your head, you know? Nat 20 as a wizard with Eldritch Blast Magic Initiate. I was the last one up with 1 HP after the rest of the party had been knocked unconscious. Did enough damage to finish off the boss. That is one of the best moments, and you never let your party live it down. You never let your party forget that you saved them with that Nat 20. Back in the 3.5 days of yore, I had a bard with that multi-class that lets you get 9th level spells and a couple levels of Paladin. We were chasing the BBEG and we tracked them to their location. We crashed in the door and there were like 6 to 8 lieutenants standing in the way with the BBEG in the back, about to sacrifice my bard's love. I win initiative. I count the spaces and have exactly enough to get adjacent to them if I can double move and tumble through everyone without getting hit. Good thing my bard has that skill maxed. I quicken a haste, roll a 20 on my tumble check, dance through everyone's furious swinging at them, and arrive unscathed beside the BBEG. I roll another 20 with my keen, vicious, thundering rapier while smiting. They are a squishy meatbag caster, so they die. My poor DM. He thought the henchman would soften us up a great deal while the BBEG rained spells after the sacrifice. My bard's love was supposed to have died. That bard was the best. And he lived happily ever after, I imagine, I'd hope. We started a fight against some Thrakreen, and my character is a level 2 Paladin, level 1 Genie Warlock. My turn starts and I turn to my sister and I say, pay attention, I'm gonna show you how you really play a Paladin. She plays one in our other campaign. I cast Thunderous Smite, an attack, roll a nat 20, Divine Smite, and I get bonus thunder damage from Warlock, do exactly 50 damage, and evaporate the bug with double its health of damage. It felt great. There's nothing quite like the confidence you get when you say you're about to utterly destroy something, and then you promptly utterly destroy something. It just feels good. My first serious campaign. My character was joining well after it had started. I was tied up in the hold of a pirate ship, managed to get free, grab my mace, and run up on deck. First roll of the campaign for this character? Natural 20. Full on Gallagher the pirate's head. I believe once combat was over, one of the party members looked at me and said, "Well, it's pretty clear you weren't on their side." Yep, that's a pretty good demonstration of whose side you're on and not on. For one of my most badass nat 20s, we go to my assassin sorcerer character. Long story short, we just escaped the Underdark into an abandoned dwarven city, and we came up in the treasure room. Of course, it wasn't abandoned entirely, and when recklessly looting, we woke up the deep dragon that was sleeping in the gold pile. Combat breaks out and I cannot hit anything. I'm not kidding when I say I missed every attack, the dice were not in my favor. The Paladin is barely keeping me alive and the rest of the party is whittling down the dragon. Near the end, a few people had gone down and it was just me and the Pally, and we were not looking good. Then the DM says that the dragon starts to flap its wings, taking flight in the massive room. I tell the DM, fuck it, I'm gonna use my boots of jumping to spring into the air. I want to land on the dragon, then attack it. We knew the dragon was low, but not low enough for one hit. Or so we thought. The DM says to roll acrobatics, nat 20. He then says to roll to hit with my main weapon, nat 20. I use my inspiration to gain advantage even though I'd already rolled a nat 20, so I could trigger sneak attack. Max damage on everything. So my character, who'd been whiffing all night long, springs into the air, sticks his blade into the dragon's throat, and rides it down, cutting the neck open all the way to the ground. I love awesome nat 20 stories, mainly because they're not just about great roleplay, but moments when the fates decided you get to be a badass. Let me know your coolest nat 20 moment in the comments, and it might make it into a future video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And wait, hey, Ranger, tell your mutt to stop chewing on the table.